2026. The time is now 7:18 p.m. according to my car, which is parked across from the Braintree Police Department, right near the Rotary, where I have memories of people I'm about to read about. So, it didn't make it into his report that Officer John at the Weymouth Police Department asked me to write a book, and I handed him my journal from the most recent psych hospital I'd been at the time. I'll just go ahead and read the most recent chapter of, There Are Reasons I Was Not Allowed to Speak at My Own Mother's Funeral by, Dylan H. Randolph, Master of Science in Counseling Psychology, and, Mr. Trajectory Jones, the illustrious weirdo body that Dylan lives in. I'm a multiple. That's a thing. Get used to it. May 2nd, 2026. Around the time I was graduating from Salem State University with my master's degree in counseling psychology, it occurred to me to look up my old friend from high school, Colin Brown. I had met Colin in my second freshman year at Braintree High School when I became friends with Tom, Mike, Kyla. I adored Colin in that terrifying way we called D has a crush on someone. He had bright blue eyes, wild brown curls, and rosy pink cheeks and lips, and we were both 14. He was a quiet kid, sensitive and gentle. We liked the same music, wandering around aimlessly, and smoking weed. I don't know why Colin's parents didn't want him, but they were very clear with him that they didn't. My parents didn't like him either for whatever reason, and wouldn't let him stay with us either, like they did for other kids who had problems at home. I can only assume that was my fault, and I know why. Whenever Colin's parents wouldn't let him back in the house when we'd try to drop him off, my parents would insist on bringing him to the police station instead so that they can deal with this problem. Colin would just sit and stare sadly around while my parents explained again and again, we don't know why his parents don't want him, but he can't stay with us. My parents had unofficially fostered I don't know how many kids, but they just would not let Colin sleep in our house, and I have to assume that was my fault. After Tommy, Kyla, and Colin stole his parents' car and actually made it all the way to New Hampshire before they got caught, Colin spent 2 months in DYS lockup waiting for his parents to go get him. Tom and Kyla were picked up right away, and if I recall correctly, his parents went up to retrieve their car within a couple of days and just let Colin sit there for 2 months because, as they told him over and over again, we do not want you back. He came back eventually. They had to let him come home eventually, and I was so excited to see him again. I remember gushing at him as I stared up at him starry-eyed. Colin Brown, you're still alive! Utterly enwrapped to see him again. This was at the start of the following school year. And he looked down at me with an immediate scowl of disgust and said, yeah, and you're still a fucking bitch. That is the last time I remember seeing Colin. Those are the last words I remember Colin ever speaking to me, and I know why. Oddly enough, I stuttered in my writing, and there's a KK. I couldn't know why. 2 decades later, as I was earning my master's degree in counseling psychology and starting my job as an in-home family therapist for at-risk children who were in danger of being removed from their families by the state, Colin was dying quietly at home of an undisclosed reason, and I looked him up days before the public memorial service for him took place. I could have gone. I could have paid my respects to his memory and met his current friends and family. And I didn't. I didn't think he would want me there, so I just didn't go. I thought about it. I asked friends online what they thought I should do, and people encouraged me to go, to get closure, to see the old friends who might show up, and, so we could grieve together. And I thought about it long and hard, and I didn't go, because Colin would not have wanted me there, I'm pretty sure. So while I was graduating with a master's in counseling psych, he was dying quietly at home, and I will always assume that that was at least partly my fault, and I will always know why. That was 10 years ago. Right about 10 years ago now. I graduated in the very beginning of May, and I'm pretty sure I started my job with South Bay Community Human Services in May 2nd, 2016, when I wrote that. I used to sleep in the slide and there's a playground near here. He lived near here. The Rotary up there. I don't know if he was there the night that Tom and Mike robbed whatever they robbed and stopped at the Rotary to count the money. I think that was a Hilltop Steakhouse, maybe. I waited up all night for them to show up in my driveway the night they stole that car, and I got tired of waiting around 3 o'clock in the morning and went to bed, and they showed up a little while after. I'd seen a car pull up near the house and turn around abruptly, and I thought it was them, and they ditched me. And the following morning, everybody at school, like all the teachers, administrators, all obviously knew something fucking was going on. And Mrs. Storms, the biology teacher that Kyla and I were in class together, we had her for our teacher. We ended up being very good friends for most of the school year. She actually asked me if I was okay, because she knew I should have been in that car. Like those 5 kids, those 3 actually stole the car. The other 2 should have been in the car. Why weren't they in the car? I walked into her classroom and she just kind of looked at me carefully and was like, "Dear, are you okay?"